The year is 2023. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 beta is officially live, and they did what I always wanted them to do, and that's bring back my favorite maps from the OG Modern Warfare 2. I've been playing the beta, and I have some thoughts. I have some thoughts on the maps. I have some thoughts on just overall this game, and it's just weird that in 2023 the beta for Modern Warfare 3 is out. I'm playing it on the PlayStation 5, but it's all these old school maps that I grew up with. We're a week away from Blink 182 dropping their newest album. I feel like a kid again, and it is so weird. If I didn't have to go to work later today, this would be an awesome time right now to be alive. And man, playing these maps brings back a level of nostalgia I didn't think I had anymore. I felt like Call of Duty had its time in the sun, and it's been very iterative. It has been very much, just copy and paste, kind of without soul. And I'm not gonna say that these maps put the soul back in Call of Duty. I'm not gonna say it puts that kind of gritty and that fun back into it. But for me, at least playing the beta, man, I felt good. I felt like this game, Call of Duty has gone through a lot of steps as far as like cleaning it up, polishing it, making sure the maps make sense with the movement and the weapons are very balanced, etc. And I just feel like maybe Call of Duty doesn't need to be that balanced, which brings us to these three maps that they have available for the beta. So if you're playing the multiplayer beta, the three maps available are Favela, Estate, and Skid Row. And a lot of these maps for me when I was playing them felt very very unorganized. It felt like every left turn there was different enemies shooting at you. One of the things that I noticed a lot was that it's harder to like see the blue name that like indicates your like buddies and stuff like that. It's harder to see that in this one, and I thought it was just me for a while because like I would always accidentally shoot like one of my friends, but then I noticed that they were also doing it to each other, and like a lot of people were kind of just like shooting each other on accident. When obviously that's not the goal of the game, etc. But it's one of the things that I was trying to pay attention to if that is, a design choice. Is it really less noticeable in this game? But I felt like really a lot of that kind of like comes back to the maps. I feel like the maps are so like unorganized. Your brain is firing on so many different cylinders because people are shooting you from different directions, different verticalities, different, ways and approaches. You see people that are doing the whole run and gun, running around the entire map with the assault rifle and trying to kill everybody. You see people with the, battle rifles or marksman rifles chilling on different levels, trying to like shoot you from a distance. And a lot of that kind of gets jumbled up together in a weird way that felt like I was never really in control of situations. Now again, I'm not the greatest Call of Duty player, so that could just be, user error. Maybe there's people who pick this up and are like, "Yo, I know all the spots. I know everything that's going to happen." And I 100% get that, but I've never been that person. I've always been the person who just plays Call of Duty not for wins or loses, not for KD, none of that. It was just for the sake of fun. And that's just what it was when I was younger, and that's kind of like the same like mindset that I have playing Call of Duty now. Is that for me? It's just about going out there and having fun. Participation trophy and all. Woohoo! Obviously, you want to do great. Obviously, you don't want to run out there and get shot every left and right and die. And I felt like over time, as I was getting used to the kind of an organized mess that these maps were, over time, as I started kind of just embracing the chaos, I definitely felt myself like more a part of it, and I was kind of changing the way I maneuvered the maps, whether it be going up and down the different verticalities of Favela, whether it be moving a little bit slower in a state because there's people from different like areas maybe trying to shoot you. Skid Row was definitely one of the highlights for me in this specific beta. Skid Row I remember very fondly back in Modern Warfare 2, but it wasn't my like all-time favorite. It wasn't like Afghanistan that was one of my favorites. Favela, Terminal. Skid Row is definitely one that as I was playing the beta, a lot of memories were hitting me like, oh yeah, I really did like this map. But when I think back on all the maps that I really enjoyed, Skid Row was never in the top. But in this beta, Skid Row plays so well. I don't know if it's the weapons or the people I was playing with or something that made it the difference, but the way that Skid Row really, really embraces chaos of like different walls and different holes, and you can like see someone from a distance, but they take a different turn, so you can chase them down, but good luck, because they're maneuvering differently and chaotically. Overall, I think this beta highlights something that Call of Duty has been missing for a while, and it's a level of unpolished. I feel like Call of Duty has become so polished, so cookie cutter, that it doesn't really like make for diversity. It doesn't really add to what I guess what I used to enjoy back then, before metas, before everyone really knew what the best weapons were. You kind of just picked the weapon because it was your favorite weapon, it felt the best, etc. I remember I used to play with the Scar all the time as a kid, and I don't know if that was the best weapon in the game. I don't know if it was OP, if it was awesome. It was just a game. It was just a gun that I preferred to use because it felt right. I liked the reticle. I liked the red dot sight on it. It was the gun that always just made sense to me. It clicked. So again, before a time of metas and before a time of like this high competitive, do you even game, bro, kind of mentality, I felt like that's where Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 really shined, and I feel like this beta with these three maps really, really kind of like encapsulate that chaoticness. And again, this is still obviously very early. There's going to be a meta that develops. There's going to be the spots that everyone knows. There's going to be the strategies, etc. Eventually, it's going to get cleaned up because that's just the world that we live in nowadays, where people learn to expect. We very, polish up a lot of these games, and they kind of like try to make it as balanced as possible. I get that. What I will say though is I hope that what Activision and their teams really learn from remaking these maps is that maybe some things don't have to be so organized. Maybe things don't have to be designed to be played a certain way. Maybe a map could just be a map that has verticalities and different buildings and different environments that maybe don't really have the best strategies, but because of that, it forces the player to just kind of embrace this kind of chaos. Again, that's just how my early rounds felt. I could be completely wrong. Obviously, I'm not like the biggest Call of Duty player. I don't like stream Call of Duty 24/7 or anything like that. And honestly, it's been a while since I kind of cared about Call of Duty. I used to care about it back in middle school. I haven't cared about it in a while since then. I played Modern Warfare 2 because I had it, so I played it and I enjoyed it for the most part. But it didn't have that same level of like charm that I feel like some of these maps really have in old school Call of Duty. A couple of other things that I do want to call out is the fact that the game does feel a lot slower than some of Call of Duty games, and I feel like this is something that Activision has been slowly working their way down, is making the game, operate a lot slower. I felt like back when like Black Ops 3 Advanced Wars felt really, really fast paced and very, very frenetic, and this one feels a little bit more thought out when I'm playing. Like I have to kind of look around more. I kind of have to assess my situations more. Obviously, relearning these maps is different. There's eventually you get to the point where you kind of know where people go, etc. And I felt like this doesn't really have a lot of like really optimal places to be. So I did notice not a lot of people were really like running out there, running and gunning as often as I would see in like the Modern Warfare 2 that released last year. Um, a couple of things like graphically, I think this game looked a little iffy sometimes. I also try to play not Warzone. I try to play Ground War, and for whatever reason couldn't get it to run properly. Every time I'd like play for like a minute or two, then like the server was shut down or something like that. Maybe that's part of the beta. Maybe that was just my connection, whatever it was. I only really tried 3 times, and then I didn't really want to waste my time anymore with it. So I don't know. Maybe you guys got into Ground War, but I didn't really get a chance to check it out. But yeah, overall, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the beta's out. I've been playing it, and it's a fun time, man. It definitely hits me in a very nostalgic place. So maybe that is what really carries the fun for me. But I don't know. I felt like a lot of people were having fun. The people I was playing with you know, we're using mics, which is so weird on PlayStation. No one really uses mics like that. So to hear people using the mics and like kind of talking to each other was very interesting. Um, Overall, man, I'm glad to see these maps come back. I'm looking forward to seeing some of my favorite maps, and you know, just seeing what this game really has beyond nostalgia. Maybe they do something that's gonna completely change the meta of Call of Duty, whatever. But even if this game is just remaking those maps, I'm fine with that. I apologize for the gameplay in this video if it is completely ass terrible. Again, I'm not someone who plays like this for the I need to win. I just play out there and have fun, and I had fun. I'm going to end this video right there. Do me a favor and like this video. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing, as that does help us out tons. Let me know down below if you guys are checking out the betas or if you guys plan on picking up Call of Duty. If you guys don't, I 100% get it. I get it. It's very, you know, cut and paste. But overall, I'm glad that their cut and paste is my favorite maps of Call of Duty, pretty much of all time. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Go out there, have some fun, play some games, do your thing. See y'all.
Multiple movers.